Welcome in then to the latest edition of Extra Time. Shaka here, Sob and Julien Laurent with us to answer your tweets. In case you missed it on yesterday's show, Jules used a lovely analogy describing Barcelona trying to get Lautaro Martinez like going into a Lamborghini shop and offering, what was it, your car, your wife's car and your kids' bicycles and hoping that you get the Lamborghini.
And a bit of cash. They said no. I'm sorry to break to you, they said no.
This is
sounds like you've done that before, Jules. That's more concerning.
You know, if you don't try, you don't get.
Oh, man. Shaka used to have a Maserati. What did you have to trade in for your Maserati, Shaq?
How did we reach here? We're talking about Jules and his Lamborghini. How did we reach here?
Okay, right. Jules. Inter took Manchester United's old car, Alexis, wife's car, Ashley Young, and their kids' bikes, Lukaku. So why won't they take Barca's this year?
That's a very good question. One, because this time is the other around, so they will have to sell one of their players in exchange to those three, whereas they didn't have to give United anything to get those. So they did those on their own behalf, I guess. And I think Lukaku especially has been a success for them, so no problem there. The other two, it's a bit more debatable, but listen, it's easy. That's why release clauses exist. They exist because those clubs know that the players that they have on their books will at some point be very coveted, and that if they put a price, then there's no need for negotiation or anything. It could be someone coming, they spend the money, they put a check on the table like PSG did with Neymar and Barcelona, and the players is off. That's why we do those. We don't do them for then a club to come and say, do you know what? We really like Lautaro, we love him, and Messi really wants him, but it's too expensive. So what about? And then trying to be like a carpet seller and trying to, and what about this? And we could have used any analogy really, because this is embarrassing for Barcelona. Either you have the money and you go for him, or you don't have the money and you can't go and you said no, and then you look at other options.
Why a Maserati, Shaq?
And why white?
How we reach back here again? How we get to me and my Maserati again?
Did you love it or did you regret it?
No, I loved it. And as I've said on this show many times before, I'm a little bit of a car buff. I did engineering because my dream job was to design cars. And then Ferrari bought over Maserati. The car that I bought was their first under Ferrari's ownership. I thought it was fantastic. I bought myself a car. At my wife's insistence, by the way. I saw it, I liked it, and my wife is the one who told me, go ahead and get it. Let me just put that out there.
I'm not saying anything, Shaq. I was just asking, why a Maserati? Why didn't you just get a Ferrari then?
Because the Maserati was new, it was fresh, there weren't any on the road, you didn't see anybody else
like you,
them.
Shaq, in Newcastle.
And it was fairly affordable. More so than a Ferrari anyway. And it was not white. It was not white, Julien.
Sorry, I thought it was.
No.
But the number plate was Shaka 1, yeah?
Carry on. It was not Shaka 1. It was not Shaka 1. To answer your question, Jan.
Jules, here we go. Right, come back. This is a football question. Should PSG get a new right back? If so, who, Jules?
It's not should they, it's they will get a new right back, because Thomas Meunier will leave on a free at the end of his contract. They didn't want to give him a new deal. So they are looking. There are already a few people that they have in mind. I think that they're looking at. I think Sergino, Dest, for me, I would love to see Dest in that PSG team, in a very attacking team as well. Even if he's young and maybe lacks a bit of experience, I think that would be fantastic. And you know that you will have him for many years to come as well. Last year, obviously, when Neymar, when there were the talks with Barcelona for Neymar to go back to the Camp Nou, they were really keen on Nelson Semedo. I don't know if they would revisit that option without Neymar having to go the other way, but I think they're there on the market, keeping an eye open. Marusic from Lazio is another one that Leonardo really likes as well, who can play in the back three, or in the back four, or back five and back four. So there's a few names there. The thing for sure is that they don't want to spend too much money. They're not going to go and sign a right back for 50 or 40 million euros. So let's try to be creative. Maybe and that's why I think I like the Dest possibility.
Yeah, and also, that's good for your work, isn't it, Jules? US international, lots of work for you. You can see it. Don't worry.
The thing is, though,
Jules.
if PSG don't want to spend too much money, they could always offer a lawnmower or, their kids' skateboard.
True. Yes, skateboards.
I think you need to
A
have a
couple
word
of
with
scooters.
Yeah.
Did you ever have a personalised number plate, Jules?
No, I mean, obviously we don't have them in France. So when I moved to this country, I discovered them and I was gobsmacked. And I don't know what I would go for. Like Jules 4, because I'm born on October the 4th. I mean, I'm not really sure. Like my wife
you
doesn't
just
have one
wouldn't
either.
get one,
My
surely.
sister-in-law, who's called Julia, has one, Jule 10, which I think is a pretty cool one. But I don't know what I would go for. Do you have one, Dan?
God, no. How pretentious is that?
Shaka had one.
Well,
Shaka
of course,
had
it's Shaka. Shaka had a white Maserati.
yeah.
Shaka won.
Jules, which PSG number 9 was better in their prime? This is good. Ready?
Ooh.
Zlatan, Cavani, or Weah?
Ooh.
Oh, you have to go for George Weah.
Oh.
He was magnificent. I mean, Zlatan was great at a time where they needed a marquee signing and a superstar to develop the brand and win the league, obviously, and everything. And Cavani, at the moment, 200 goals in 301 appearances is fantastic. The ratio is great, and he's the club record goal scorer. But Weah had something different. He had something special. He brought that team in a team that was quite defensive at the time. There was only him and Ginola to be there to create before Rai arrived, and he was just fantastic. First African player, obviously, to win the Ballon d'Or as well, and some of the goals he scored. And for me, growing up as a 14, 15-year-old, going to the Parc des Princes and seeing George Weah was just wow. He was so elegant, he was so powerful, technically he was fantastic as well. And I think more than Ibra, who always looked a bit detached really and didn't really maybe share the love for the club and etc. Weah really embraced everything in Paris, and it was fantastic to see.
Shaka, Shaka, did you ever score a goal in your career? If not, what is the closest that you ever came to scoring?
Well, I never scored. I scored when I was at college in the US. I used to come out and play out in the park every so often, so I have a few goals in the name, but never scored a goal professionally. The closest I came was West Ham against Spurs, where I cleverly let the ball go past to Anton Ferdinand, who had a better position than me. So I was just very selfless in my goal-scoring efforts.
Is that pathetic jump, Shaq, where you just jump like 2 inches off the ground?
It was a deceiving jump. It was very deceptive in nature. It fooled everybody in the Spurs. Well, I was lined up along the goal line. That's what that was, Dan.
Okay.
You didn't miss the ball.
I left it to Anton Ferdinand because I saw him there out the corner of my eye. Hold on, I'm still explaining my assist, Dan. I saw Anton Ferdinand.
You ducked out the way. That's what you did. Ducked out the way because you got scared.
With my peripheral vision, because my peripheral vision is a full 270 degrees, and I spotted him.
Wow.
And let it go by. That's what happened.
For Shaka, today is Captain Fantastic Stevie G's birthday. Any particular favourite memory of him?
No, none at all. None at all as it happens, Dan.
Nothing springs to mind.
Nothing. And why should it?
Okay. All right then, Shaq. Here we go. Which French West Indies island is the best to visit and party it up Shaka style? I'm assuming Shaka has visited the different islands and left his mark on each and every one. Has Jules ever been to any of the islands? Shaq, how's your mark?
I have no idea. The only of the French West Indian islands I've been to is the French half of St. Martin, and I went there on my honeymoon with my darling wife.
Oh, beautiful. Jules, have you ever been to there?
I haven't been to Martinique or Guadeloupe or French Guiana either. I think French Guiana maybe for the party would be great, but all of them are, or even to the French side of St. Martin. But I think all of them are pretty spectacular. I think to visit, to spend time on.
Jules, after a freebie. Okay, next question.
Always.
This isn't fair. On a scale of 1 to 10, how smarmy is Dan Thomas? Smarmy?
What's smarmy? What does that mean, smarmy?
It's kind of like used car salesman smarmy, isn't it? That's kind of
slimy, a slime ball, as the Americans would say.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave this one to Julien because I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can guess my answer.
I can't know, Shaka. No, we've been friends for a long time. I don't think you would describe me as smarmy.
Who, you? The one who just accused me of having a white Lamborghini with a personalized license plate and leaving my mark all over the Caribbean? I'm putting that in
just
you,
reading
Dan.
the tweets.
I'm putting that in you, Dan.
I'm reading the tweets. You make up a lot of stories about me, Shaq, that stick.
I'm putting that in you. You chose those tweets.
No, I didn't. I do not choose the tweets.
I am
That must be clear.
38% sure that you wrote those tweets.
Where'd you have 38 from? Right, final one. For Jules, here we go. This is the big one. Start one, bench one, sell one. Now, all of this is when they're in their absolute prime.
Okay.
Neymar, Zidane, Platini.
Oh. So wait, start one, bench one, and sell one. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Julien.
Yeah. So
You got
I'll sell
permission,
Neymar. Yeah.
Sell?
Thank you, Shaq. I'll sell Neymar and get a lot of money for him to go on holidays in the French Caribbean islands.
Buy a Maserati.
Buy a white Maserati with the red plate Shaka one. No, okay. Between Platini and Zidane, I have to start one of them, and the other one will go on the bench. I will start Platini, and only for this reason, because he was more of a goal scorer than Zidane. Zidane, incredible creator, wonderful playmaker, that technique and
Julien,
the ability.
No!
Yes.
No!
Hear me out, Shaka. Hear me out.
Platini, you have to.
Listen, I want to win the Euros, and Platini can score me 9 goals in 5 matches.
Zidane
and Zidane can maybe create hundreds of chances, but they might.
Jules.
He won't, because he scored 2 goals in the final with his head. He never scored before and has hardly scored after that. But I think that Platini, in a sense, if you think about 2 number 10s, although they had a different profile, I think Platini was more complete in the sense that he could create and was a wonderful playmaker, can play from deep as well and everything. And the vision was fantastic, but he could score more easily, right foot, left foot, headers. And Zidane would never finish capocannoniere in Serie A, for example, like Platini did. And I think for me, that's why I think I would start Platini, bench Zidane, and if things go wrong, Shaq, then I bring on Zidane at halftime.
Well, no, you see, with that theory, you've got it wrong, Jules, because Shaka's right, because when Zidane gets sent off, then you bring on Platini. Bosh, there you go.
That's true.
Neymar will not be inviting you to his party next year, Jules, after you will not have him.
I've been already now, so it's okay.
Oh, that's it. It's over now.
He's left his mark. Julien has left his mark at that party.
Left his mark like Shaka in the French Caribbean island.
Don't know what you're talking about, Dan.
Right,
no
gentlemen,
idea.
that's it. Thank you very much. Shaka's internet didn't break. That's a good thing. We'll be back tomorrow. Keep your tweets coming in at ESPN FC. Smarmy. I'm not smarmy. Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.